My name is Scott Cmiel, and I'm at the faculty of the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, where I am chair of the guitar department in the pre-college. San Francisco Conservatory of Music Pre-College is a very special place, and it's a very special place because of the people involved. The faculty is absolutely committed to helping the students reach their highest possible levels. The students are the hugest part. The school emphasizes chamber music and emphasizes students playing together. Most students in the guitar program are in guitar quartet. We also have a guitar orchestra that is very wonderful. It's been getting good attention recently. And that's a big part of learning to be a musician. I remember I talked to Bill Cannongeiser of the Los Angeles Guitar Quartet once, and he said to me that it was entering competitions and playing solo concerts that made him a virtuoso, but it was playing with other people that made him a musician. And I believe that there's a good deal of truth to that. And I think that's what the conservatory offers, an opportunity to make music with other people who are just as dedicated as you are. Most people go to high schools where they are a little unusual because they're committed to classical guitar. But they come to the conservatory and they meet other people who are just as committed and work just as hard as they do and are interested in making music at the highest possible level.
In 2013, when I was applying to be the president of the conservatory here in San Francisco, one of the questions that I got from the committee is, what do you know about this institution? I said, well, I know many things about it, but if you want to know the first thing people talk about here, it's often classical guitar and the quality of the pre-college. This is actually the answer I gave to that committee at that time. And the reason is because in the world beyond this place, it's certainly true. The quality of the pre-collegiate work that goes on here is extraordinary. And if there is a centerpiece in many respects to that, it's hard to look past that classical guitar department. I mean, Scott has done a magnificent job, along with his colleagues in the collegiate division, certainly David and Sergio and Meng, in looking at not just what this program can be, but how does it really prepare young artists for the future. In particular, the pre-college is extraordinary because more than 50 or 60% of those students go to 5, maybe 8 of the top institutions in the world when they leave here. On the academic side, so Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, UCLA, Berkeley, and it occupies an enormous portion of where these students are going. And they continue to play guitar when they get there. But on the other side, if you look at the top conservatories in the world, you have an output that is similar to that. But the interesting thing is, I would suggest that neither of those two things should be or are, in fact, the goals of the program, which is why it succeeds. The real goal of the program is to allow students to find this space where they have fallen in love with an instrument. They can pursue that craft and that art at the highest level. They're working with teachers who understand how to cultivate that. But more than that, they find each other. If you look at a guitar ensemble concert, and you're listening to the guitar orchestra with Scott conducting, I'll never forget the first time I saw it. It wasn't just the virtuosity of these young players. It was the fact that you could tell that this is where they felt at home, that they were utterly engaged completely in the enterprise of making music. And the wonderful thing about the guitar is, for those of us who are ensemble players, I'm a tuba player, certainly we can play on our own. Classical guitarists are able to take that experience with them and in such remarkable ways both collaborate or work independently to make music for a lifetime. And so not only do I think it prepares students to succeed as they have at such a high level in life, but it gives them something to shepherd them through life. And in that way, it's something we're so deeply proud of at this institution.
My name is Angelica Artelt. I am on the guitar faculty here at the pre-college division, and it's my first year, just finishing my first year, and it flew by. I loved being part of the program. I loved working with Scott and all the other teachers. They've been very inviting and very inclusive. I believe that music is supposed to be fun. I tell my students there's no forced guitar lessons, so you don't have to be here, but you have to teach each child individually. So I think a big part of it is figuring out, it's kind of being kind of a psychologist, figuring out how does this child work? What drives them? What inspires them? How much can I push them to get to where they need to go or where I know they want to go?
I would just add big appreciation for what Scott has done for so many years. I mean, this program has produced one outstanding young guitar player after the other, to the point that he is internationally recognized for the work he's done. And, the reality is that, quite a few of them don't come to the Collegiate, and that's fine. If they grow up in the Bay Area, maybe they want to explore the world, we support that. But to hear these young players playing at this level is just inspiring. So I really thank Scott for the work he's done and all the other teachers he's working with.
My name is Roest Thompson. I've been teaching here at the conservatory in the preparatory department for 23 years. Just wonderful attitude, a happy feeling, a general collective commitment, love of the guitar. I sense it a lot here, like big time. And that's not true everywhere, where the level of commitment is from everyone, from the smallest, shortest little students like this, all the way up to old guys like myself, and I'm becoming one of the oldest guys here. We all love this instrument and what we do, and my opportunity to work with young people who love it as well, just they remind me of myself.
Hi, my name is Meng Su, and I am one of the guitar faculties here at San Francisco Conservatory of Music. And this is my 4th year here at the college, and I have about 10 students. And one student, very talented from the pre-college, that I have the pleasure to work with. And I started playing the guitar very young, and so playing guitar is my life. And I started when I was 5, and the guitar has taken me to, every place in the world. And I've met so many good friends and played for audience from different backgrounds, different cultures. So yeah, this is what I do. I play concerts, I teach students. Before coming here, I worked with pre-college from time to time. Whenever I came to San Francisco, Scott would invite me to do a class or to have private lessons with some of them. Over the years, I've seen what amazes me is that not only a couple good players, but many, many good players who may not end up doing guitar majors, but it's important that they get to a very high level that they try very hard to achieve, and then music will always stay with them. Some of these students who went to Yale, Harvard, they're not music majors anymore, but I believe that playing guitar is going to be, guitar will be there for the rest of their lives.
My name is Justin Sun. I'm the Associate Dean and Executive Director for the Pre-College and Continuing Education here at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. It is my great pleasure to oversee our wonderful pre-college programs that support students between the ages of 4 and 18 in their study of classical music. We have 2 programs for guitarists. We have a program for students between the ages of 4 and 7 to get started on classical guitar training, and that's called our Early Childhood program. And then we have our guitar program in our Pre-College Academy, and that's primarily for students between the ages of 9 to 18. That is one of the top level guitar programs around the country. We have about 24 guitarists in that program, and that consists of weekly private lessons, musicianship class, a chamber music ensemble, primarily featuring guitar quartets or guitar trios, and we have a guitar orchestra that's led by our wonderful guitar chair, Scott Cmiel.
My name's Theresa Calpotura, and I'm one of the prep faculty, mostly for ensemble at the conservatory. My father is Filipino, so he was born in the Philippines, and then he came here in his 20s, so like early to mid-20s. He came to the States, to San Francisco actually, where he met my mom. Yeah, so I actually enjoy incorporating elements of Filipino music, using traditional instruments that I've been studying the past several years as well, into my own music. That's been another journey that's been interesting to take.
I've always loved teaching. Even before I ever thought of being a teacher or making a career, when I was young, I would help my fellow bandmates learn what they wanted to do on guitar. Totally independent of my musical career, I would help students in class with math problems or with different homework assignments. It was just something I was naturally drawn to. My first real mentor was Michael Lorimer. He was a Segovia protege who was one of the first people in the United States to give big concert tours in all the major cities of the United States. He was a Sol Hurok artist, which was the big management firm at the time, toured Europe and Russia. He, Christopher Parking, and Oscar Gilia were the people who were on the guitar series in Chicago that Andre Segovia was on. So it was those four people. And I did study with all three of them, like in master classes. And I was particularly impressed by Lorimer. He was someone who mastered the Segovia repertoire, which was the state of the art at the time, but was also intellectually curious. And he commissioned a lot of pieces by composers who were very interesting. Pulitzer Prize winners like William Albright and William Balcom. And I was really taken by his energy. He also was one of the first people, the first one I know of, to seriously take up the Baroque guitar. It was just a delight going to his concerts because it was always something new. Anyway, I found that very exciting, and that's been influential for me for my whole life. When I got to the conservatory, I was very impressed by a number of the teachers there, both college and pre-college teachers. And one in particular struck in my mind. Her name was Irene Sharp, and she taught the cello. And it seemed like every time I heard about cellists winning a national or international competition, let alone the regional competitions, it was one of her students. So I asked to talk to her, and asked her if she would tell me how she did it. And she invited me to observe her lessons, which was an incredible education. And she talked to me quite a bit. And so she was very important to me. And the third person I'll mention is Jim Weimer. And he taught for a long time at the Juilliard Pre-College, and then he moved to San Francisco, and he taught for us. He was an eccentric and wonderful human being. He taught musicianship. He taught ear training. He had such a big reputation among such a small group of people. It seemed like every time, like a young conductor would come to town to conduct the San Francisco Symphony, they would show up at Jim's musicianship class for teenagers at the San Francisco Conservatory and sit in on the class because they just loved him so much and thought he taught so much. He felt his subject was teaching people to hear. He constantly talked about the inner ear and about the inner sense of rhythm and how that was the most important thing about music. You had to feel it inside yourself.
Do it again. Yes? Does that feel easier? Yeah. It's a lot easier. And it sounds better. So it's a good deal. My goal is to help them understand the guitar. They should understand how music works. The body as it refers to playing the guitar and the mind works, and give them the tools so then later they can do it on their own. They should also listen to a lot of music, all kinds of music, and specifically inside the classical music, do all kinds of music, orchestral, piano, everything. So to develop their inner, tastes and all these things, Also something that is very important to me in my teaching is that I like for the playing to be honest. And by that, what it means is to work really with the feelings that they have and how they feel the music and, instead of pretending or putting on airs or whatever, because I think that if you play what is inside of you, I think as you grow, your playing will change, as you get older and as you acquire experiences in life, as opposed to, for example, some players that may just rely on tricks or whatever. I mean, you can learn some other tricks, but at the end of it all, it will be empty. So that's what I try to work with them,
My name's Mark Simons. I teach in the pre-college, continuing ed classes here. Teach guitar, mostly classical guitar, but all styles of guitar, a little bit of ukulele. Students of all ages, very young through elder adults. Even if one doesn't pursue music as a long-term life plan, I think there are amazing benefits to it. It brings together so many skill sets, so many aspects of what we aspire to as humans. You know, personal expression, physical control, artistry, communion with one's fellow man, right, in a chamber music situation, and expressing universal feelings and emotions and ideas. So I'm grateful to be working in music for a lifetime. That's, I guess, my main primary focus is a holistic approach to music.
My name is Jon Mendle, and I coach small ensembles here as well as teach private lessons for the pre-college division. The atmosphere at the pre-college program is really fantastic. I mean, it reminds me of a lot of the things that I loved about studying here as a collegiate student. There's a real feeling of camaraderie among the students, and the program is so big. We have over 20 pre-college guitarists in the program, which is just awesome, that I think it inspires the kids when they see what other people are doing. Like, they might want to pick up that piece, or, you know, just seeing what's possible, it inspires them to reach higher levels. I, of course, try to guide their taste and their approach, but I want them to feel like they are able to be themselves musically, and my goal is to, of course, help them play, develop their technique and all that stuff, but to sort of cultivate, you know, their own innate artistry, which even at a young age, if, you know, when young people practice regularly and work hard, I believe they can really have an amazing voice.
My name is Matthew Cmiel, and I am teaching chamber music in the early childhood programs to young guitarists, which really means that I'm working with students ages 4 through, I think, 9 years old right now, and teaching them sort of the beginnings of learning to communicate with each other through music. My job teaching in the early childhood program guitar chamber music really is about trying to get the students to understand how to listen to each other and how to work with each other. There's so much about the guitar, about music in general, that is this very personal, private thing. This, I'm locked in a room practicing, or I'm with my mother, but I'm practicing, and it feels very self-focused. And so having this opportunity to be with someone, to play chamber music, to work together, to create something that you could not create on your own, is this really special experience. So a lot of my job involves trying to get them to listen to each other. Sometimes that's through small games, sometimes that's through improvisation, and sometimes that's just through asking and seeing if they are listening to each other and encouraging them to do so.
To play music well, students have to learn how to think for themselves. They have to learn how to believe in themselves. They have to learn how to focus and how to work independently. And all those skills are incredibly important in today's world, especially now artificial intelligence is going to be so prevalent, and people who have those skills of focusing and thinking for themselves are going to become more and more valuable. It's difficult to go on stage and expose yourself. And many students, I would say every student, maybe every professional, is at one time or another plagued by self-doubt. I always tell students that they should remember to not believe everything they think. They're actually wonderful. They don't have to become wonderful. They just have to learn how to bring it out.